Hello, friends, and welcome into Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey. Today's show, OTA winners, and yes, some losers as well, but it is mostly positive for a very, very light organized team activity session and grouping for the Bengals. First up, and this one could matter a lot come actual season time, Irv Smith, the tight end formerly of the Minnesota Vikings. Talked to any of the media there. It was common takeaway was, Irv Smith played really well in the lone open OTA portion, I should say, made some nice splash plays, specifically as a seam stretcher. The downfield threat is there. The Bengals are counting on Irv Smith, and that is very intriguing and appealing. Here's what Zach Taylor said on Irv Smith. He's been all in. He understands the big role he could play. That's been exciting to see. I think if you have to pick one winner, just one, from, again, a very small portion of the offseason, Irv Smith is definitely up there. The Bengals have a clear and obvious need at the tight end spot. They're banking on Irv Smith staying healthy. If he can stay healthy, instead of being even like the third option, he's the fourth option. Might not be consistent big plays, but I think there absolutely are going to be some splash plays to keep an eye out for with Irv Smith. So I'm excited about him this year. I think he can have a big-time breakout, kind of like Hayden Hurst did last year, and then, in theory, cash in. Bengals get a comp pick from that perspective. So will Irv Smith break out this year? Why for yes and for no? Go ahead and vote in the comment section. Jaxson Carman is next up here, the offensive lineman, mostly tackle these days. The reason why I put Carman as the winner, the Bengals publicly leading up to OTAs, offseason stuff, etc., said, hey, we're going to give Cody Ford, Carman, Hakeem Adeniji, etc., chances at right tackle. Well, per Paul Denner of The Athletic, at the open portion, it was really only just Jaxson Carman who was out there on the right side, which I think speaks to, A, how this team feels about him in terms of making the roster, and if he has to play right tackle, how they feel about him. Carman was much better last year. It was a much smaller sample size, but some of the weight issues that he had in 2021 going into it weren't quite there that past year. Much better play. He got work on the left side last year. Now he's getting work on the right side. Maybe Jaxson Carman then could end up being the closest thing you have outside of Jonah Williams to a pure swing tackle. He can play on either side of the offensive line. And if Lyle Collins is healthy, we'll see week one. But that would mean, in theory, Orlando Brown, Jonah Williams, and then maybe Carman is offensive tackle 3. That's a big deal for him because you spent a second-round pick on him. It was a really bad first year. Made a little bit of showed some promise in year 2. Maybe year 3 he can continue to at least be a piece for you on an offensive line that we know depth has been a problem in the past. We're going to get some more names here, but you guys love football too. I'm sure you have some OTA winners in mind. So head down to the pinned comment and let me know who your biggest OTA winner is. If the ad break comes here on the YouTube side of things, take advantage of it. Ignore the ad. No one cares what it is. Go name your biggest OTA winner. I'm going to cheat and group 2 names together. That is the rookie wide receivers, Charlie Jones out of Purdue and Andrei Iosivas out of Princeton, who I'm going to call Yoshi because I loved Yoshi and Mario Kart. That was the guy I always picked, and it's a cool nickname. Both players drew some praises from coaches, from media, and it even sounds like maybe Andrei Iosivas isn't as far behind as he could have been, with an adjustment still coming from Princeton. The Bengals have a really good wide receiver core. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd are among the best trios, if not the best trio in the NFL. Then Yoshi, then Charlie Jones in there in the slot. There's a lot of reasons to, maybe not necessarily instant impact year 1, although I think Jones will help you on punt returns, but year 2, year 3, there's a lot to like. And if you want to have fun with it, you can go empty, put all 5 receivers out there, or maybe down the road, Jones replaces Boyd and Andrei Iosivas is your just speedy vertical threat. Take top of defense. That's fun offense for Joe Burrow and company. I'm just throwing it out there. So who are you most excited about long-term? CJ for Charlie Jones, AI, not Allen Iverson, but instead for Andrei Iosivas. Go ahead and vote in the comments. More rookies. Jordan Battle, the safety, is next up here, in large part because he got a lot of reps with the first team. Nick Scott was out, shoulder injury. More on that coming up on the other side of this video. on the back end of this video, I should say, and a lot of praise for Battle. In particular, with how quickly he's been able to pick up the defense and the communication and the reads. It's all been impressive from his coaching staff to even Nick Scott himself. Here's what he said on the rookie safety. More snaps for the young guys, the better, especially for JB. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a guy that can contribute right away. It's pretty evident he's there mentally. He understands concepts and everything like that, and he's physical enough. I can't stress enough how good of an understanding he has of the things going on. That's really good praise, and maybe it's the Bama background, but that's really good praise for the third-round rookie out of Alabama, Jordan Battle. More winners to come, and you can be a winner this Father's Day by getting your dad a Bengals hat or even the T-shirt hat combo pack. An easy, simple, last-minute Father's Day gift. Shipping is normally pretty quick. Head over to chatsports.com/Bengals hats, or you can get the Joe Burrow headband if that's the route you want to go instead. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show, up to about 50% off for some of the items. So go shop, see what your dad wants this Father's Day. Chatsports.com/Bengals hats. Another winner. Hey, it's Joe Burrow, right? He hasn't gotten paid yet. That's okay. The real reason why I put Burrow on this list, not just because he was sharp at OTAs, but on the final day of OTAs, which seemed to be pretty quick, they went to Reds batting practice. And Joe Burrow hit back-to-back home runs because of course he did. Seemingly nothing Joe Burrow can't do, which is pretty damned impressive. So wanted to give Burrow some love on that front. Next up is Tanner Hudson. You're thinking, wait, who is Tanner Hudson? Why is like the third or fourth string tight end getting some praise? Well, we know what happened last year with long snapper injuries. That caused some issues there. Cal Adamitis, I think that's how you pronounce it, was not participating due to a minor injury. Tanner Hudson handled long snapping duties and actually did a pretty decent job. So in theory, the backup long snapper role could be held by Hudson, which hopefully never, ever has to be said again, because you don't ever want to say your long snapper's name. Normally means something bad has gone on. Now, if you guys want even more Bengals coverage, you have come to the right place. Subscribe for more free Bengals YouTube videos right here, youtube.com/BengalsTV. Let's go to a UDFA. That's Jaxson Kirkland out of Washington. I put him on this list because Dave Lapham on his podcast asked Zach Taylor about Kirkland. And look, the coach gave a glowing review. I wouldn't expect anything else. Also, probably a bit of a reason why Lapham wanted to ask about Kirkland and why they probably talked about some previously planned stuff, would be my guess. So I think that's a good name to monitor then. Here's what Zach Taylor said. He looks the part. He's done a great job. Just talking to Frank in the meeting room, that's Frank Pollock, the O-line coach. He's been about what we want to be up front and fitting that culture in the O-line room. So minor note, but a positive one. One more winner. Oh, Devin Asbury. And then you're going, who was that? Yeah. Well, earlier this week, we did a challenge. Most comments gets a shout out, and Devin stepped up to the task and was the winner. So, Devin, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And there's your shout out for commenting the most on that video earlier this week. To losers, I'm sorry. There are losers in life. I feel bad, but it'll be okay. Cody Ford, for the exact opposite reason that Jackson Carman was a winner. The Bengals had made it seem like Ford would get some run at right tackle. At least in OTAs. Could change from minicamp, of course. That was not the case. And I do not think it is a guarantee that Cody Ford, who frankly hasn't been very good so far in his NFL career, is assured of a spot somewhere on that offensive line. There is a not expensive contract. You're talking basically the vet minimum. I've yet to see any even guaranteed money attached to Cody Ford's deal. So when you have Orlando Brown, Volson, Karras, Cap Williams, all guaranteed spots, Carman's going to make this team. Maybe Dante Smith makes this team again. If Max Sharping, Jaxson Kirkland, Akeem Adeniji, Cody Ford, that's too many names. I mean, we can legitimately name off 10, 11, 12, 13 offensive tackles or linemen on this team who have a shot of making it. That's great for the Bengals, but maybe bad for somebody like Cody Ford. Next up is Nick Scott, again, only because of the injury. Jordan Battle making an early impact in terms of positive first impressions, which not necessarily the end of the world for Nick Scott, but maybe they could go a different direction if they wanted to. Scott is still recovering from that shoulder injury, which has been a pretty long one to recover from. He said, quote, it took 6 months to heal. I'm 98% there. All I have to do is go back to LA to get cleared. I could have flown back out now, but they said there was no reason, and I'll wait to go when we're done here. So, look, Bengals being cautious, that's fine. But, you want to be out there. You want to be out there getting reps. And if you're not, it allows a young guy to potentially take your job maybe a bit sooner than he would have preferred. Speaking of young guys taking jobs, I would be pretty surprised if Drew Krishman, the punter, kept his job. The Bengals, of course, drafted a punter, Brad Robbins, which I don't like doing that much, but it's a clear indication that, hey, this team believes in Brad Robbins after the way the playoff game ended, fair or not. Drew got some blame for that. And head coach Zach Taylor, again, also on Dave Lapham's podcast, had this to say about Robbins. We're excited about Brad. There's a reason you draft punters, because you think they're good players. He's another guy who seems like a veteran right when he walked in the door. Minor quote, but still significant, because I think in the end, Robbins will end up being this team's punter. We'll see how minicamp goes when they do some more of that stuff, but it's going to be a tricky task for Drew to make this team, I think, in 2023.